Welcome to the PlanEdge video training series. This video looks at finishing the plan. What we're now going to do is looking at labelling the individual rooms. So on the ground floor we can see the rooms labelled that we put in place earlier on when drawing the rooms. But if you've not done the room labelling as you've been creating the plan, then you'll just see room name 1, room name 2, etc. within the plan. So what we can do is we can edit these room names in complete mode. So if we tap on edit next to the floor that we want to change the names for, what we can then do is look at just that floor. So what we can now do, so for room 1 is we can change the name. So if we double tap on room 1, we now get a drop down similar to the drop down we saw before, and we can select the relevant name from there. If the room doesn't appear in the drop down list, then you can simply type over the top using the on-screen keyboard and then press return, and that will rename the room for you. If there are any rooms where you don't want to show the name, so for example room 4, which is the landing stairs, all we need to do is to click the little icon with the T and the I, and the text will go off. We can easily show the dimensions on the plan for a room. So if we wanted to show the dimensions for the sitting room, if we tap on the sitting room and tap this icon right at the end, what it will do is show you the dimensions of that room in feet and meters, and you'll see that some red lines appear to indicate where the room is measured to. Now the red lines don't show up on the plan, but what you can do is you can add dimension arrowheads, and if you tap this icon here, what it will do is it will show you the arrowheads on the walls. So in this room here, you'll see that we've got a subwall, and if you remember that from the drawing we did before, if we want to measure to the subwall rather than the end wall, then what we can do is we can tap on the set icon, and what that will allow us to do is to select the wall where the measurement is coming from, and that highlights both the walls and subwalls. So if we tap the subwall here, what will happen is that we'll now get a measurement from the subwall down to the bottom wall. Now if we want it to go the other way, all that we need to do is to tap on the red circle, and what will happen is that the measurement will go to the other side of the subwall. One thing to look out for is the dimension arrows that go through the this block. You will notice that in this view, what will happen is that in the final plan, because that's all black, you won't see the arrowhead. So it's worth making sure that when you set these arrows that you tap into the room, and what you then need to do is to move those arrowheads just so that they're into a visible space within the particular room. If you find that when you label the room that the dimension text is a little too big, so in this case here it's overlapping, what you do is you can either move it around to try and make that fit, or alternatively you can rotate the dimensions and you can move those within to that room so that they fit nicely, and you can have that at any angle that you wish within that room. We also have the ability to change the colour of a room, so we can create coloured plans. So by default all the rooms are set to white, indicated by these squares here. So if we wanted to change, let's say, the master bedroom, if we tap on this white box, we get a palette of colours that appears, and we can then choose any colour that we like. And once we've selected a colour, what will happen is that the room colour will change to reflect that. So again, bedroom 2, if we want to change the colour of there, what will happen is we can tap again and we can select a colour. So let's select a different colour, and down here when we add a colour, what you'll see is that we get recent colours, so that makes it easier to add the same colour to multiple rooms. So if we want to change here room 3, what we'll do with room 3 is we'll select that to the same recent colour, and then the hallway, what we'll do is we'll tap on that and again we will change that to a colour, so we'll make that green. And if we wanted to change finally the bathroom, room 5, we can tap on that and we can select again another colour from the palette. So very easy to create colour plans of any colour that you like. We can also choose to exclude a room from square footage, and that's done quite easily. So if we wanted to, for example, on the first floor exclude this landing and staircase from the square footage, if we tap edit on the first floor, next to the relevant room, so room 4 in this instance, you'll see a little icon which we can tap on, and what that will do is it will exclude the square footage from that particular floor. So if we go back to the complete mode, at a glance what you'll see is that these numbers here show that 4 out of 5 rooms are now included in square footage. So sometimes you'll find that when you create a plan that you have small undulations within the perimeter wall. So here we can see at the top of this plan that we've got a little small step along that top wall between the sitting room and the kitchen. Now effectively this is as per measured, but for the purposes of display it would be nicer if this was flush along that top edge. So we give you the ability to be able to make changes to this through something called perimeter editing. So if you tap on edit down at the bottom, what we can now do is we can either move or delete points within that perimeter to make it more flush and more desirable to the eye. So here what we're going to do is we're going to move a point, so we're going to tap that move icon, and if we zoom in a little bit, what you'll see here is that there are a number of points which produce this little step. So what we want to do is we actually want to move something in line, so we're going to select the top point, and if we move across to the other corner, when we tap this corner, what it will show us is that it's going to move that out to the same horizontal line as the previous corner we selected. So now we've got effectively a straight line across the top. But what we now need to do to finish this off to make it look neat is to delete that unrequired point. So one of the other options that we have with perimeter editing is to be able to remove this point. So if we tap off the move in line, and what we're then going to do is we're going to tap on the delete point icon, and once we've done that we'll be able to remove the unneeded point by simply tapping, and what that will do is that will correct the top level wall so that we've got a nice flush finish to the plan. So on this floor what we can see here is that we're going to do some perimeter editing to take out this little area in the left hand side where we've got this little step. So what we need to do here is effectively move the perimeter line so that it's straight down, and that will give the building a little bit more of a realistic appearance with regards to the finished plan. So we do this in perimeter edit mode, so we're going to click on the edit perimeter, and what we're going to do here is we're going to actually delete some points from the perimeter line which create this little step. So if we zoom in a little bit, and what we do is we then just tap on the 2 points that we want to remove, and then if we come out of perimeter edit mode, you can see that the wall is now flush down that left hand side. So we also have the ability to put a watermark onto a plan, and this is useful for the purposes of presenting a logo or company branding. So from the top up here, what you can do is you can select one of the loaded watermarks, and when you select that from the list, what happens is that appears into the background here. Now because the plans are by default have white rooms, and in the case of the right hand side plan we've already coloured it, if you want the watermark to show through these areas here, then what you need to do is you need to set the rooms both on the right hand side and the left hand side to be in a transparent colour. So we're going to click into the room, we're going to edit, and these 3 colours here which are currently white, what we're going to do is we're going to tap on those, and you'll see the colour that looks like a little checkerboard, and that's transparent. So we're going to select that transparent colour, and what we will then see is that if we select this for all 3 rooms, then when we then go back into standard complete mode, that we'll see that the watermark now starts to show through the plan. So we just do this for all the rooms if we wanted to see the watermark across the entire plan. So the final part to the plan is then producing some output that you can then send to your client or customer. So there are a number of different formats that we have with regards to outputting the plans from PlanEdge, and we do that by using the export button, which is up the top here. So it's the little disc with the JPEG logo on it. So when we tap on this, what we get the ability to do is to give the plan a file name for export purposes, and then down underneath we have a number of different file formats that we can select for export. And you can select any of these for the plan. If you need multiple file formats, then you can export a number of times, selecting the correct format in each case. And then once this is done and saved away to the disk, you can then email forward that plan to your client or customer. For more information and videos, visit planedge.co.uk.